All right, here we go. We're heading down into Fort Myers Beach, and I'm gonna have to go to get some fuel. I got 14 miles till I'm empty. This is leftover rainwater. This is rainwater though. These canals do not overflow. This is the south end of the beach, so this is all just rainwater. Got a lot of comments about driving through the water. The water I was driving through was 6 inches of water because the storm drains couldn't keep up because it was raining so hard. So, and I want you to know that I am very conscientious, and I was not driving through areas where people's houses would be, where the splashing would go up into people's houses. At least I didn't knowingly do it. So, but anyway, I do care. So, but anyway, what we're doing right now is I'm going to rush down here, get fuel at the 7-Eleven, and then we're off to the go see what happened last night. The tarp that covers my boat has worked its way free.
An 80-mile-per-hour winds last night, so we'll connect it back. I already have the straps for it. Just let it float in the wind, but if it gets too far loose, let's grab it.
So this is the south end of the island. There's really not much going on down here. The impacts were primarily on the other end of the island where the elevation is less. Debby is still here, the very tail end of Debby. Debby is ginormous. So what's going on, if you look over here, you see all them white caps? Well, we don't normally have white caps. So the white caps are being caused by the wind. They said there were wind gusts of 80 miles per hour last night, and my tarp system that goes over my boat is rated to 70 miles per hour. I woke up this morning and a big portion of it is flapping in the wind. So apparently I got too small of connectors for it. So I'm going to get some new connectors, and we'll strap that down. No sense in strapping it down right now because the wind might blow it through. We've been having some very strong gusts. If you see the flag here, and it's flowing like crazy. So all of this was flooded when I was driving down the street, and it was flooded because we got multiple inches of rain all at the same time, and the storm drains couldn't keep up. So this whole Fort Myers Beach, they did a wonderful job in putting the whole Fort Myers Beach back together, and putting in these new roads and the new sewage system, and they also put in water lines and sewer lines for the whole island, and kind of brought it into the 21st century, because everything that was here was just hodgepodge together from years and years and years of just people. These were just shacks for people to come down that were rich during the winter months. So but anyway, I'm here at 7-Eleven, going to get fuel. I was going to get fuel last night, but guess what? They were gone. The power was off. So they got the power back on. This tropical storm came in and ended up becoming a hurricane. It's still here. If you look up there at the sky, look at the clouds, and look at how fast they're moving. That's not very normal for here. So last night I came over here to get fuel, and guess what? The power was off for this part of the island. So 7-Eleven here, which has just been rebuilt since Ian, there was no power. So I got down to 14 miles on this truck before I was going to be out of fuel, and I really don't want to drive around my personal car on this. So that's us. We're removing Pros Demolition, and I just happened to be here, and I know people would like to know what's going on. So we are taking an early morning ride down now that the sun is up, and we're going to see what happened overnight with Debby. So here I am putting on my seat belt, and lots of traffic heading this way. Lots of people who are curious. There's a lot of construction fences on the ground right now, and there are porta potties on their sides all over the place, and I don't know, it's not what we needed in Fort Myers Beach. We just got through with Ian, then we had a Dahlia come in shortly after it, and it flooded kind of like it did here. We got so much rain so fast that these streets were covered with water. So it wasn't flooding from the beach or from the ocean. Now there were a couple spots on the road where it was flooding over from. We were getting some overspill from the Gulf of Mexico. But all of this down through here, if you watched any of the other videos, I'm zooming down through here, and the water is about 6 inches. I've been in Florida a long time. I kind of know how to be careful and not get myself in a situation where I swamp out my car or whatever. This truck is aluminum. It's also something I trade these trucks out every 2 years. So right now you're not seeing much of anything on Fort Myers Beach. So what I'm getting at is the water. I wasn't driving through salt water. I'm sure some of it was salt water, but I wasn't driving through salt water. And believe me, it got fully rinsed off before I got back to my house, just from the rainwater. So if you look down through here, this is the south end of the beach. There's really not much of anything that you can see that's wrong. When we get closer to the downtown area, I drove around about 5:30 this morning. I just couldn't sleep. I shouldn't say I couldn't sleep. I slept well. I just didn't need any more sleep. So I was anxious to get rolling with this, and so we're driving down here. One of my friends called, and he was worried about me. Actually, a bunch of my friends called because they know that my house is close enough to the water that it could have gotten impacted yesterday. 2 more foot of water and I would have gotten impacted, but that's a lot of water. My neighbors had been down here forever, and they've owned the house next door forever, which is gone now because I tore it down for them because of Ian, and they're building a new one. But he told me, he said, no matter what happens, other than something crazy like Ian making a landfall like it did and bringing 10 foot to 20 foot of water all across the island, and that's like everybody's calling that a 500-year event, and I'm hanging my hat on that. So we just rebuilt where we were at in place, and so at any rate, you're seeing some debris on the road here, and again, we're in the middle part of the island, so the elevation slowly and gradually goes down as we get to the downtown area. So you're seeing more and more debris on the road. Normally we don't have that debris on the road. They keep it pretty clean. They're doing the best they can post Ian. Got a lot of people that haven't fully cleaned up their properties yet since the hurricane, and the city's working on that. Their 2-year anniversary is coming up the next month. Okay, this is what got me over here a couple different times, checking on this building that we're demoing. And what my concern was, I did something stupid, just thinking about it. If we'd have had a significant storm surge, we would have flooded those vehicles, and I was trying to keep the debris down on the ground by trapping it underneath that. I learned a lesson there. I won't do that again. We'll just throw fences or something over it and get the machinery out of here, because nobody expected this to happen. Look at all this stuff you see on the road. That's all because water was coming across these lots last night. All these lots right here were getting water from the ocean. The ocean was riding up and sweeping across here. And you can see right now the ocean is still, there's a lot of wind going on, and that pushes the water in towards the beach. And right now the beach would normally be at least 100 foot wide. Currently it's maybe 20 foot wide. So all this stuff you're seeing on the road, this is all caused by washover from the Gulf of Mexico. So this area right here would have had a mixture of salt water and regular water on it when I was coming through yesterday. The majority of it was going to be, it's just rainwater. These systems can only handle so much water. So that thing right there, that blue tarp, I didn't think that was going to make it overnight. Look at these trees all blowing this way really hard. So that's at least 20 miles per hour of wind, probably a little bit more. Down through here, we are probably minimal impacts. These are all elevated homes. If they got a little water in them downstairs, it really isn't going to hurt anything. Those were probably going to be tearing them down. And then over here again, there was water washing over onto the street from the ocean. The ocean was significantly more aggressive yesterday. Now Debby is all the way up to the panhandle, and we're still getting the effects. That's how big this storm is. We are still getting strong winds, and supposedly we're going to get rain later on again. So at any rate, last thing we need on Fort Myers Beach is another freaking one of these events to deal with. Now the downtown area got, my one neighbor called, he ran down and took some on a trash pump. Trash pump is something that pumps a lot of water really fast. And he said they got 3 to 4 foot of water in their house, and they're right up on the bay. So, and that area, I drove back there this morning, that area is a little bit lower in elevation. So the same thing happened downtown Fort Myers Beach. Although they have built to the codes, and they rebound from this pretty quickly because they're designed to get wet and to get over it very quickly. So like Wahoo Willie's and Snug Harbor, they will have stuff to do to get back open, but it won't be much because they're built for it. When I first went into Snug Harbor, when they first opened up, I thought, oh my God, are you kidding me? The amount of overkill on this building. So it took them years and years and years to get the permits, DEP fighting with them and so on and so forth. They had the rights to do it. So anyway, they got through it, and they built out on a pier, and the restaurant is actually out on a pier, and it's pretty freaking nice. There's Alex King. He's one of the main realtors here on the beach. And so here we are getting to the downtown area, and you know, not a lot of impact. You don't see a lot of impact. You see some of these construction fences got knocked over. Like I said, there's a bunch of porta potties that are laying on their sides, but that's no big deal. And then when you get down into the areas where the water was actually in the buildings, I'm going to turn up here next to Margaritaville. Now, I showed on the video yesterday, there was water impacting the Margaritaville downstairs. I don't know how much it would have got in. I don't know if it could get in. I don't know how well they've got that lower unit sealed, but that is all designed to take this stuff. It's designed to take a really hard beating, and they're open tomorrow. You know, they're sweeping and cleaning. So this is Crescent Street, and in the video yesterday, when I turned down here, there was water starting right about at this parking lot, and we were in water, and I got to a certain point. Notice how the elevation goes down, 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 down. When I got to about where this sign is here, there was a car that was broke down in the middle of the water, and it had water up to midway on its doors. So this is all debris that came from Adelia. This is all that canal over there was flowing into the street here. The whole bay was overflowing into this area. They had, like right where we're at right here, 2 to 3 foot of water. Up here further, probably 3 to 4 foot of water, and the storm was pushing it into the bay and bringing it up inside of here. The elevation here on Fort Myers Beach is lower than most areas on Fort Myers Beach. These guys right here, Matanzas is not open yet. This right here, this car here, he got too far in here or couldn't get out, one or the other. That's the police beat next to them, and I guess they're going to get them towed out of here. They just left their car in the middle of the road, so I don't know what to do with that. Now this is the Snug Harbor, and this is Wahoo Willie's. And Wahoo Willie's, they're built up. Their floor elevation in there is about 3 feet. Now over here, these guys probably got water inside. So you see a clump of towels in there. this was all flooded, 2 to 3 feet, 4 feet down there by where Snug Harbor was. There was water up to this. I don't know if it actually got inside or not. I hope not. These are my friends. These are guys I know. I'm hoping, I'm going to call him in a minute. As soon as I get done with this video, I'm going to call him and see if he needs some help, but I think he's all right. But the water was completely across the road up here.
Man, that sucks.
That's the old pier, what's left of the old pier. There was some chunks of the old pier that got knocked off the top. It was the decking. My wife was asking me about it yesterday. So I'm gonna pull over here into this parking lot, and looks like they might have it blocked off, but you see all that sand that all got washed up here from the hurricane. Now they blocked off this parking here for people, so you can't get back in there. So a lot of it is all covered with sand. So all of this is the lower part of the island. That construction fence is down. All this sand came from over there, and all being pushed by the hurricane. Okay, here's a police officer coming this way, I think. Nope, that's the guys. That's the park guys, and he's correcting from the wind. And if you look over here, you can still see the sea is very angry. So the impacts are going to be indoors. You're not really going to know who got flooded and who didn't. All these elevated homes, these are all have been built to take this kind of abuse and not really impact them very much. That helps our insurance long term, so they're not paying out on the same buildings over and over and over, which is the idea behind FEMA. These are some of the shacks that they're rebuilding here, and you see how high up that one was. And here you go, here's a brand new house being built. And you know, Pink Shell recovered quickly. They're built to withstand these kind of hurricanes and stuff like that, and they are able to rebound and get right back into business very quickly. You see how high up those boats are? You wouldn't know this, but they're that high up because the water level is up high. So if there's a high tide event, there may end up being more problems. So here we are, this is Bowditch Park, and let's go back in here and see if there's anything going on. So the water level's up. I don't know where we're at in the tide cycle, probably somewhere towards the upper part of it. And Hurricane Ian washed out a good portion of this right side of this park. There used to be a nice trail that went up and over this mound. Somebody came here and did donuts this morning. And you look at all this, so no real impacts here to the parking lot. They don't have this open yet. There might be some additional wind damage to it. They're getting along. Normally there are a whole bunch of porta potties sitting here, and they probably had them removed for the storm. They're kind of proactive about that, so they'll put them right back tomorrow. All right, so all these houses you see that are built up like that, they're built up for stuff like this, because then stuff like this doesn't become a major event for the area. So all these raised houses, that's why they build them up this way, so that when you get a storm event like this and you get water that's traveling across your barrier island, then you don't end up having another insurance claim. So all of these places here have all been built to code to withstand the hurricane surges and stuff. You look over there, look at the ocean, it's still churning like crazy, and that's because of the wind. Even though this storm is 300 or 400 miles away, see all that water, all that sand that's washed over from the beach? This is all stuff that that will have to be cleaned up today. So when I was down here at one point in time, there was so much water on the ground. There was standing water over here on the on this whole area, this whole Times Square area. That's the old Times Square area. When I was down here yesterday at the tail end of the day, they were blocking off people from going across the bridge. I thought that was crazy. Later on, I find out that the reason is it was so flooded on the other side, you would get your car stuck. So they were keeping people from ruining their cars. So this I did early at 5:30 this morning. So this is an example of the ocean is normally, the Gulf of Mexico is normally about another 100 feet to 150 feet, depending on where we're at in the tide cycle, back. So the wind is pushing all of that this way. You don't see whitecaps here very often. So these are some people that are probably here for vacation and they're walking around and just checking out what's going on. There's Margaritaville again. This is Crescent Park. And it's got a lot of new sand and it's smoothed out. It looks very nice. So I should be seeing some of my trucks down here shortly because we're hauling stuff away from some of these jobs we're working on the beach. So pretty interesting stuff. A lot of these streets, these side streets, this is a lower elevation here. I'm going to run down by the post office, see what kind of things you're going to see there. So there's the post office, and let's run back in here. So my friend who called me and asked me if I was having problems and was going to come and help, I went and helped one of his neighbors who had significant flooding from the hurricane, from this Debby. It wasn't a hurricane when it came through here, but from Debby. So all these places right here, these are all places that the Hurricane Ian destroyed, and these are all places that are being rebuilt. So this water last night possibly got up inside of that 293 right there. If the elevation here is pretty low, so the elevation on the other end of the island is like 10 or 11 feet, and on this it's somewhere around 3. So in some places it's 4 and 5, and this is the early settlement part of Fort Myers Beach. This is where everybody started. So what you see is, if you're down here long enough, you see people when they build, they bring in a lot of, they call it dirt, but it's really sand. If you're from up north, it's sand. And they build up, and then they build up on pilings. So it's a really good idea. So I'm thankful to see that there's probably not nearly as much damage, wind damage and that, things that you can see. The biggest thing I've seen that you can tell is the porta potties being knocked over. So there was a lot of standing water on this road just because of we were getting so much rain so fast it couldn't handle it. You see the back of that building's completely blown out. That's from Hurricane Ian. So a lot of this stuff is gone. We tore this one down here on the left. We tore one of the 5 buildings down here. That blue building back there, you see that? They just put a new roof on that. Oh, I take it back. Well, I don't know if that's a new roof or not, but the roof's folded over on the back. These guys here, the Sandy Bottom, they had some wind problems. They had a tent set up, and apparently the tent got damaged. They were in here picking it up. I thought they were just taking it down, but my wife said that she read somewhere that it actually got damaged. Back over here, that's where I used to live for when we started Remove It Pros. And all these, it's a pretty powerful wind when it knocks over silt fence, because silt fence has got a very low presence, a very low center of gravity or whatever. It's just not a big deal. So a lot of these places down here, because of they're elevated, they just don't get no damage. So again, here, this is more water, standing water. I don't know if that's from the hurricane or somebody's sprinkler system's going off. I don't know what they're building there. I would love to know. And so you see all the white caps there, and this is me heading back to the south end of the beach, and there's really not much more to see. So it's Remove the Pros Demolition. We do hands-on demo, we do building demolitions, we do concrete cutting, junk removal, and we do all that with repurposing in mind. You know, we do things for less money when we're going to get things that would ultimately end up in a dumpster, but that we can turn around and repurpose. So those kind of things, it's part of our business model, and I'm just sharing with you what happened here on Fort Myers Beach Island last night and yesterday from Debby. Okay, I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching our video. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe and leave us a like.